What's going on, everyone, and welcome to Movie Emporium's TV review of WandaVision Episodes 1 and 2. Now, before we begin, hey, if you like what you see on this channel, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium, hit that notification bell at the top to find what's coming next. If you like this video, awesome, hit that like button, as well as commenting below on any video that you watch, including this one. So here we are. We finally have reached the phase 4 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's been about 18 months since we had our last Marvel movie, which is, to be fairly honest, a little bit of a relief. We were getting a little burnt out by, to me personally, I was getting a little burnt out by Marvel movies. It's not saying that they were all bad. It was one of those things where you just needed some break from it. It's like Star Wars, they're giving us a little bit of a break after Mandalorian. And we were supposed to have Black Widow by now. We were supposed to have, of course, the Eternals by now. I think Shang-Chi as well. And it didn't happen because of the pandemic, and it was such a shame. Even this series, WandaVision, pushed back because of the pandemic. It was supposed to come out last year or something like that. And because of things happening, it is what it is. But it's nice to see Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany come back, because as weird as their relationship is, the Vision comic, which I actually have read a little bit of the comic, is a very fascinating one. It deals with like the kind of insane nature of Vision and Wanda having kids, and how there's a lot of issues dealing with like like racial issues and stuff like that. It's really fascinating. But when they announced WandaVision during one of their many press conferences, I was like, at first I was like, WandaVision, that's a really weird title. And then they started talking about it, and we started seeing images about it, and then we finally got some trailers for it. And I think the title WandaVision is pretty smart. It's a very kind of cool, kind of meta title, WandaVision, as well as like WandaVision being like TV series. But the one thing I was really looking forward to from the images and the trailers was this idea of harkening back to like the 50s and 60s, as well as like the 70s and 80s when it comes to television. The idea of adding in like Twilight Zone style mystery and stuff like that, and the idea that what is actually happening and why is it happening, why is Paul Bettany's Vision character come back? I mean, he's dead. And what is Wanda's Maximoff's whole play in this situation? She's considered the most powerful character in the MCU, and it's just a really kind of fascinating take. Like, what were they going to do? So here it is, January 15th, and the first 2 episodes have been released. So this review is going to be a spoiler filled review. It's if you don't want to know anything about it, don't watch the review. But the first 2 episodes, especially the first episode, is very much a Lucille Ball 50s comedy, screwball comedy TV show. And it's basically dealing with 2 individuals, Wanda and Vision, who have their powers, which is kind of fascinating, but they are in the middle of moving to a neighborhood that's very much like Leave It to Beaver, and they have people like neighbors who are played by Kathryn Hahn, and they are just your very as typical suburban individuals as they can be, but they can use their powers. Wanda has the ability to manipulate things, and Vision can flow, and he can transform into a human cyborg or human being, stuff like that. But they, as the first episode plays out, it's just normal screwball stuff. But what makes this episode very interesting is as it slowly starts to play out into the very end of the episode, we are getting literally pieces starting to fall apart. There are moments where in this episode where, for instance, Vision and Wanda have no idea why they're there. They have no idea what is going on. They have no idea what their purpose is. The people, when Vision goes to work, he has no idea what his job is. He has no idea what it's supposed to be doing. Wanda has no idea, why when were they married? When did they have a relationship? And it's a really fascinating thing to watch, because it's starting to play into the idea of this horrifying Twilight Zone escapade that, you have no idea what to do. Things are just really out of whack. There's stuff that's going on with Kathryn Hahn's character that's just really weird, and it's just a really strange thing that's going on. And then they get to the dinner scene where basically Vision is invited his boss over. There's some screwball stuff that's going on, and basically Vision's boss starts choking on a piece of meat. And what's crazy about it is Debra Jo Rupp's character, the wife, continues to start laughing, and she almost seems like she's stuck in place. because the whole world around WandaVision, the whole world around what's going on is not, there's something really, really off about it. Things start getting really dark. It starts going through the Twilight Zone effect, and Vision has to use his abilities to get out the piece of meat from the boss is choking. And it starts to kind of unravel a little bit of what this series is trying to do without really even giving us anything. And so after that happens, after that finishes, we basically get a segment where, for instance, they're making food in the, through Wanda and stuff like that. And then at the very end, as this episode ends, we go to what feels like the real world or whatever, the real life situation. And the whole, it's not really explained. There's not really much to kind of go on, but somebody's watching Wanda through a TV, and that's the end of the episode. It's a very strange way to end it, but it's leading into some weird, interesting rabbit hole mysteries where this series is going to go, and how Wanda is playing into it, and how she's controlling everything, because she is, it feels like she's controlling the whole situation. I think it might lead into like Black Widow or something like that. But and then we get into episode 2, which is leading more into the mystery of what is going on, but it's not really giving us a whole lot. Basically, it plays out once again like a 50s Leave It to Beaver screwball comedy, where basically Vision is going to do a magic act, and it's going all wrong. It's going all weird, and they end up going off on their own separate adventure, where Vision goes to meet the club boys or whatever, and he gets gum stuck in his rotors and stuff like that. So there's a really funny stuff going on with him playing as a drunk and stuff like that. And then of course Wanda goes to the club where all the women are debating and stuff like that, but something strange happens. A toy airplane or a toy helicopter falls from the sky, and it's in color. It's not black and white, because the first 2 episodes are in black and white. And she's kind of questioning what's going on. So things are starting to kind of go out of place. Things are starting to change and become weird. And we start seeing things starting to fall apart, where, for instance, the head of the women's council or whatever, head of the committee, I guess you could say, she's a very stuck up type individual, but she starts to have kind of a weird panic attack or whatever. And they start getting sound waves of somebody trying to contact Wanda through the radio, and things start to kind of slowly fall apart. And whatever happens, it's similar to like the Truman Show, where things are just really out of place and you're not really sure what's going on. But we find out that something's amiss, but it kind of continues into this screwball comedy 50s 60s style world. And of course, like I said, Vision gets the gum stuck in his gears or whatever, and then they start to perform the magic act, and it's a lot of fun because Wanda has to use her powers to fix all the mistakes that Vision's going through as he's acting drunk and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun. This is where we get Geraldine, who, if you read the IMDb credits, is Rambeau, I think daughter of the character from Captain Marvel, and that's really fun. It's really fascinating. It's going to lead into some really interesting material, because there's some really kind of off stuff about her character in the series so far. So we'll see how that plays out. But kind of the big thing at the end of this episode is Wanda is pregnant all of a sudden, which is something I think she helped create. Vision, there's a whole big joke where Vision and Wanda are hearing things outside their window, and it's a tree. And at the very end of the episode, they walk out, and there is some individual with bees coming out of the sewer system. And Wanda basically says, no, this isn't how it's happening. And she reverses everything like a pressing a reverse on a video recording system, tape deck system. And it goes right back to where they were finding out that she was having a baby. And that's where the episode ends. And of course, we have the whole idea of, somebody's trying to contact her. It's like, who is doing this to you, Wanda? And we also get the moment where everything around Wanda and Vision start to colorize, start to become like Pleasantville in a lot of ways. So it's kind of transforming the world around her, which is really leading into some really interesting kind of theories about what is going on in this universe. But I have an idea that it has to do with Wanda really not being able to accept the fact that she lost Vision, and maybe she's under control from somebody, kind of like how she was. Maybe Daniel Bruhl's Baron Zemo has something to do with it. Maybe he's getting revenge on what happened to him in Captain America Civil War. I don't know, but it's really fascinating. It's going to be fascinating to watch this series kind of transform as it goes along. I don't know if there's going to be a second season, but if there is, it'd be really interesting to see how this series ends. It's saying it's a mini series, so there could be only 9 episodes, but I would love for another season of this series just to kind of expand upon, just kind of give us more content. Because as this first 2 episodes start out, I mean, in the episodes there are 2 commercials, which are really cool and harken back, and they have Stark Industries and stuff like that. But it's a really cool kind of harken back to like the 50s and 60s commercial system, where they would just go to a commercial where it would be a live commercial, and it's a lot of fun to watch. But yeah, that's the first 2 episodes of WandaVision. Like I said, I highly enjoyed them. I really did. I love the mystery. I love the homages to, you know, Twilight Zone and Pleasantville and Truman Show, and, you know, Leave It to Beaver and Lucille Ball. And, you know, I really feel like Matt Shankman, who's the director of these 2 episodes, and Jack Schaefer, who's the writer, have done a nice job with just presenting a real interesting mystery and giving some really fun entertainment material. So like I said, Elizabeth Olsen, Paul Bettany are once again great, as they've always been. It's pretty crazy. Paul Bettany is just kind of, he's gone from this actor who was not loved at all for the Hollywood system for some reason, to becoming one of the most integral parts of the MCU. And I'm kind of happy Paul Bettany's has some kind of career. And yeah, so the first 2 episodes have now officially been released on WandaVision. Finally have another TV show that's not called The Mandalorian. And I'm excited to see where the series is going. So the first episode, I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. I think it's great. I think it does leave a little too much mystery, which, you know, whatever, it's the first episode. The second episode, 8.5 out of 10. Really loved it. So overall, a great start to the phase 4 of MCU. So, but that's it. That's my take on WandaVision episodes 1 and 2. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of the first 2 episodes. What's your theories about what's going to happen in the next 7 episodes? But otherwise, if you like what you see on my channel, of course, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium. Hit that notification bell top to find what's coming next. If you like this video, awesome. Hit that like button, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace out.